Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca Green for the Whiny Palooza podcast, and I am extra excited because I have my very good friend Laura Brann with us here today. Laura, thank you so much for doing this with me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
Wait until you hear what Laura is going to help us with because we all need it. She is amazing, and I so appreciate her doing this. Let me tell you a little bit about Laura. Other than friend. She's going to be married 25 years in August. Laura, that's amazing. She has three children, ages 22, 19, and 16. She is assistant director of development at the Summit Center, and she's been organizing events through her work and PTSA for more than 25 years. And I know that she's like an event master, but she has also sent two kids successfully off to college. So I'm here to get help for all of us like me who are sending our kids away for the first time. And as you know, Laura, there is so much to learn. Oh my God, I cannot believe how much I have learned. And I have so much to learn from you. So I'm going to start with, how did you prepare all the supplies to take to college? How did you organize it? How did you get it done? Help me. You should see my dining room right now.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I first started, I think, as we all do, okay, who do I know who already sent kids to college? So I reached out to my cousin and she sent me over her list. I was like, send me your list, give me that. And so I started with her list because she'd already sent her three kids off. So I was able to kind of take that. And then I
Perfect.
just started looking around and I just made sure her list meshed with what I thought we needed. And then sometimes when we would go on a college visit, they would give you a list of things you could use. So I melded that all together in my own. It's literally a simple Word document. You could put it in Excel or whatever you wanted to do, really Google anything you wanted. And then I just check marked it off as I started to purchase things. So I tried to put as much on it as I could, knowing that I'm sure we would get there and we would have forgotten something, and that's okay too.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you about that. So Laura is fantastic and sent me her list, which I mean, I am checking things off. I am using your list. Of course, I've added stuff because I'm crazy. And I'm sure I'm buying him way too much stuff. But like my issue is there's so much that I'm so overwhelmed and I keep checking things off and there's still so much to buy. Like just keep going.
Yes, try to chunk it. That's one thing I guess maybe I could have added to the list is chunking it out into where you're going to buy it from, because you can't get everything from every store, and there's also everyone has a different budget too. So something that maybe I purchased, someone else would say, "You know what? We can't get that. We got some things from Pottery Barn, and those things are they have an awesome dorm room selection." But
Oh.
I mean, it's just you just have to look at the price tag and be like, you know what, can I spend that on that shelf? Or do I want to look for it elsewhere? So that's what we tried to do is what are the things we absolutely wanted that were from Pottery Barn? And there was a couple things that really helped. And then we just started looking at places like Target and Walmart and all of the different stores. And we did a lot of online purchasing because as I've gotten older, I used to love to shop. I would run to every store. I'd be out all night. I I just can't do it anymore. So I just kind of made my list and I just started ordering. And as things came, I just made sure I unpacked them right away. And then I set up a table in the basement. So I had a big
Hmm.
foot table in the basement and everything was down there. And kind of all at one time, then I went in and I organized it all with the
It's
help
so
of my
much.
child. So whatever she
Yes.
was, it wasn't just me. They were involved.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be, boy, moms are going to hear me right now. This is going to be completely different with Ella and Lily because Max, he even came over to me and said, Mom, I promise you'll have more fun with Ella when you do this. Because he's like, Great, Mom. Great. I don't care. Whatever, Mom. Buy whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's basically what I did. It'll be different with Grace, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was just like, okay, well, we'll just get this. Okay. We'll get this caddy and we'll just buy it in gray or whatever. And then it's fine. And
Yeah.
like, oh, I got you two pairs of flip flops in case one rips throughout the year. And I gotta, okay, thanks. So
Oh my God, boys, boys. Anyways, what do you think surprised you most when your children left for college? Because you had to go.
I didn't realize that how easy, I think every school does this, how easy they make move in so they
Mm,
feel comfortable, especially if it's your first. You get there and you're like, oh my gosh, it's the most overwhelming thing. And then you see 10 kids, all, sophomores and juniors, standing there with huge carts. They do these big built up carts. And within, I'm not joking, 10 minutes, everything was outside the room.
it's
I
amazing.
how did that just happen? We didn't make any trips up. I mean, and a lot of times, your child could be, depending on what school you go to, they could be in a high rise, they could be on the third floor. So I was surprised. I didn't really, with being a first time mom when my oldest went to school, I had no idea that there'd be so much help when we got there. I in my head was like, we're going to be going up and down those stairs.
Oh God.
So that was super, super helpful to have that help. And also kind of knowing this is for, I know a lot of probably moms listening or parents listening now are thinking about, sending their first off to college. But then I'm just starting to realize that when it comes to second and third year, you don't have all that help. So you need to prepare.
Oh,
There's,
oh,
yeah,
really?
I
So
think
that's only the first year.
yeah, moving for sophomore year, Noah and I were just talking about it. Noah's like, Mom, I'm on the third floor and there's one little elevator. And I was like, okay. So, because freshman year, everybody moves in on the same day. But I think sophomore, junior year, they can move in, Saturday or Sunday. And you're on your own. So,
Wow. Okay. Thank you. See, thank you for that warning. I did not know that.
yep.
All the stuff we need to know. Did
Yep.
you drop, prepare the room and leave, or did you like stay? Like, tell me the time sequence.
We tried to, it wasn't fully, but if we knew enough, we communicated with both children's roommates. So we tried to work it so that we had different times because you think about it, if you have four people in that room and then the roommate has four people in the room and they're all trying to make a bed and put things out. And those rooms are not, I mean, if you're talking just a regular standard double room in almost any college, they're small.
Yeah.
So we ended up trying to time it a little bit. We stayed because part of it's just me. Like
Yeah. No, that's
I'm very organized, so I was like, we have to have this here and this here. And then at the end, when we weren't done, I remember my husband Derek looking at me, and he was like, "It's okay. Noah can, Noah can do this. Quinn can do this. They can set up what they need to set up." And it's fine. It doesn't really matter that the shelf is hanging here. And so we left at that point. We got the bed made up, we got the clothes in the wardrobe, and things out on the desk. And then if they wanted to decorate their room, they could do what they wanted.
and did you stay over or did you go home?
We did stay over one, well, my oldest Quinn in Chicago, so we stayed for the weekend. Uh,
Yeah.
Noah is about an hour and a half away, so we did stay I think we did stay the one night, and then
Yeah.
the day we did leave. But it kind of it you will base it on how far your child is. And another thing that I think, I didn't do this personally, but I know I've heard a lot of parents say that if their child is far enough away, you can order and then you can pick up when you get to the city. So that's a help. Target or any store will pretty much do that, or then you can pick up the items and then you don't have to, especially if you're not driving. If your child's going so far away that you're flying, then you can't take all that with you.
Exactly. Exactly. So how did you prepare yourself emotionally for the whole process and saying goodbye?
Oh, I don't think anyone, I know, you know me. I don't think anyone's ever really ready to say that goodbye. You know, it was hard. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that part. Um, we just really tried to, I think you're so busy at that point. So you didn't almost really prepare yourself ahead of time because you're just so busy getting everything ready and making sure they're okay. And then making sure they have all of their documents and that they have their forms and they're ready when they get there. And so I think the harder part was the preparing, that when you got home and you walk in and the house is really quiet. That was
Oh,
that was tough. It's tough. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us all how you got through that because you know I'm going to struggle.
Yeah. Oh, well, I shouldn't have done this, but I went and sat in their room. That was bad.
Oh,
That
I'm not gonna do
was
that. I'm
bad.
gonna
I
just
did it for both
cry.
of them. Oh. Now, my oldest has a bedroom that's like an L shape, and there's a couch on one side of it. So we turned that into a big TV room. So now we've made it a really positive space because that's become the guest room. So we hang out in there all the time. And I'll get a phone call, a FaceTime from Quinn, and Quinn's like, "Why are you in my room?" And I'm like, "Oh, this is our favorite room in the house now because there's all little twinkle lights in there and a big TV." And so we've made that kind of like a TV room that's
Oh,
and then when my sister comes or we have a guest come, she stays or they stay there. So there's a lot of hustle and bustle. Um, Noah's room was, yeah, that was a little sad, but I usually go in and I straighten things. Nobody in this house makes their beds, so I'll go in and kind of just straighten and put the curtain up, let the sunlight in, and yeah.
oh. So on drop off day, did you hold it together for your kid or did you lose it? I must know.
I held it together until the very end, usually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So my story, because you've always got to share a story, because even Derek said when I said I'm going to be talking to Rebecca about sending the kids off to college, and he was like, "Are you going to tell the story about dropping Quinn in the middle of Chicago?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell it." So we obviously stayed overnight, and everything was all set, and we're like, "Okay, we had a 9 hour, 8 hour drive back." So we were like, "We're going to get on the road in the morning, but we'll meet you for breakfast." So we met Dunkin' Donuts just right in the loop where school is, and we had a quick breakfast, and then we walked out into the street, and you could just feel like the lump in my throat and like my chest starting to like, and I looked over at Derek, and we gave like a family hug. It was just the three of us. And then I remember Quinn looking over and going, "Well, adios," and started walking down the street. And I was like, ugh. And then the waterworks started, and so there's two grown adults standing in the middle of the loop in Chicago. I mean, not even like crying, like not even a few tears, like full out crying in the middle. And if people saw us, they would have been like, "What in the world is wrong with these people?" And we're like crying. I couldn't see to actually like get to where the car was parked. And then I like got to the car, and I'm like, "Okay, I gotta like pull it together. We gotta drive." So started to pull myself together. But that was the toughest. It was when you send Max off. He's your first, sending your first off. That was
He's gonna be like, okay, mom, I love you. Bye.
But adios, that's what I get. All the years of Spanish. Adios.
God, I love it, but I want them to be like, okay, bye.
Hmm.
I want it to be easy for them, even if it's hard for me,
Yes.
you
You
know.
100%. 100%. And it was hard. And then you kind of look over and you're like, all right, you know what? That's kind of what we had that drive home, and we chit chatted and talked all about the weekend and everything, and hoped everything would be okay. And
Well, so tell us, prepare me for like the first month, okay? And so how did they do? Did they adjust okay?
yeah, I mean, both did. And I think pretty much every parent listening is like, my kids are all night and day from each other. So
Yeah.
I think my kids sort of are similar to how your kids are, having three children. And
Yep.
so they're all adjusted differently. Where so Quinn, my oldest, is super outgoing, always has a million friends, and sort of just like went out there and just, I remember them saying, "I'm going to go to, I can't think of the name of the cookie place that's by so many colleges." It wasn't Crumble, but it was whatever the cookie place was.
Insomnia? Is it
Insomnia.
insomnia?
Thank you. Yes, Insomnia. I'm going to go to Insomnia, and I'm going to buy cookies for my whole floor. And that's how I'm going to meet people. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, so that's what they did. They went and bought cookies for the whole floor, met everybody. So I was like, they're going to be all right. Like, and then I didn't get a call, which actually was a good thing that I didn't get a call, because if you get the call, so and I had many parents say, "I got that call that next night or that first night with sobbing child, going, 'Mom, I'm so homesick right now.'" Like, so I didn't get, so I'm like, okay, that's good. And then Noah is quieter, more reserved, always has a couple of friends, but doesn't have the whole floor. And I didn't get a call from him either. And I thought, okay, that's good. That's good. So he was enjoying himself, but he just met the few people, and he and his roommate have gotten very close, but he's not the kid that's going to have a million friends all over the dorm. That's just not, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
they're all so
Yeah,
different.
that's
They're
okay.
all
The fact that neither one was homesick, and they were both liking their classes and liking the school and getting used to things, that made me feel a lot better.
well, that's wonderful. I'm hoping for the same experience. I really am.
Yeah.
So tell us how you stay connected without making them feel smothered.
Ooh, I know that's a good question, because I'll preface it with I came from a family who I had a smother. I don't know. My mother, I loved my mother. She, she was wonderful. And I know, she passed away a few years ago, but she was my mom. And she was very much like, if she called and you didn't call her like almost right away, she'd call you again and be like, where are you? I called you. And so I can't do that to them. I have to like kind of not do that. So
Right.
we would FaceTime, and I knew actually one thing I did that I didn't do it as much with Quinn, but with Noah I did. I was like, give me your schedule, and then I made sure I didn't FaceTime or text during class, because I knew, especially for someone like Noah, he would be nervous if he saw something and he was in class, and he'd be like, why is she reaching, I'm trying to study here. I'm trying to learn something. So I would wait, and then I would do a FaceTime like when class was over, or like when I thought dinner might be over. And then I would get, that would be better. It'd be like, oh, I'm back in the dorm for the night. Hey, how'd your day go? And so we would FaceTime pretty much, or text.
Okay, so my kids think I'm crazy. So how often do you talk to them? Because I'm like, I want a daily text message, and they all think I'm crazy.
Yeah, I don't get that. Not that I don't get that. I get that, but they don't do that for me. That's what I should say. So,
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
no, sometimes time goes by, especially with Quinn. Now Quinn's program is 5 years, so this is going into year five. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so
Wow.
I might go. Honestly, don't want to scare you, but it sometimes goes 2 weeks. Like I'm like,
Oh,
just making
no.
sure, hey, or then I'll get the call back of like, hey, I have a question for you, like that, but it's not like really like that. And then Noah, we tried to just do like every couple of days. Like we didn't get something every day, but every few days.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm like, I want a daily text. And he's like, oh, mother.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different softwares. I made them all
Yeah.
do Find My, and I know people have different things. We just simply do it through our cell phones. So at least I can look and just be like, okay, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the right
No,
thing or
no, no. I totally agree. I told Max and Ella that they're going to stay on Life 360 so
hmm
that I can see. I said, I don't care where you are. I'm not gonna say anything about where you are. You can go wherever you want. I just want to see it moving.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So, what mistakes did you make that you want to warn other mothers about?
Well, that was actually, in talking about that, that was kind of one of the mistakes I made, was checking that, especially for Noah. And then I would be like, oh, he's in his dorm room right now. I was kind of hoping he'd be out and about somewhere. And so that was starting. And Derek was doing it too. Like, he's like, oh, I looked tonight, Noah's in his dorm. And so we realized we shouldn't. Like, if it's Noah's choice. If Noah feels more comfortable, he wants to be back in his dorm at the end of the night and not like out and about, then that's okay too. But that was kind of a mistake that we made, of like, we were worrying then, like, is he having fun? Is he meeting people? Is he happy? And he is. He
And
was.
he is. He had a good first year.
Yeah, he had a good first year. He did have a good first year, and he's never the type of kid that is, where some kids are so exuberant about it. Like, I loved it. It was my favorite thing ever. He's like, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah,
So,
it goes with his personality.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
Uh,
how did your relationship change with your kids when they left? Give me a warning.
yeah. It's interesting that we have all gotten closer. I was thinking about this a little bit, that because the time we have is more limited, that we really have made the most of it. Like when they're younger, you're just sometimes on autopilot. And with three children, everyone has a lesson. Everyone needs to be somewhere. I know you, you know me. We've been driving everyone all over for years. And so even then when they get their license, you're still driving others, or you're kind of making sure that if you're going to have you're going to have Max pick up somebody, if he's going to pick up the girls, then you have to coordinate that with him. So you're constantly either driving or coordinating. So when they get home, we really try to spend as much time as possible together. And they it's interesting too. Some kids, I think, spend a lot of time with their friends. My kids, when they got home, because they were spending so much time at school with friends, they got home and they're like, I'm good, like I'll hang with you. So
Oh,
we would go to movies, we'd go out to dinner, we would go for walks. We picked a show. We all have one show together that we watch. So Noah and I, every night we watch one show together that is an older show that has a million seasons. So we're going to be watching. I was like, you're going to be like 26 before we finish
you have
all
to tell us what
the
show you're
top
watching.
shows. I was like, you're going to be literally like, because when time we finish 9 seasons of this show and another 9 of another. But you know what? It's fun. And it's something that we both enjoy doing together. So
Oh, that makes me you brought tears to my eyes. That makes me so happy.
yeah.
Okay, so I was really impressed with you when I talked to you the other day, and I'll tell you why with this question, okay? So, did your marriage shift when the kids left, and how did you handle that?
Yeah, it did, but it brought us closer together, I think, because we were like, you know what? This is in the end, in 2 years from now, for us, it's coming very soon. And I'm sure many parents have been through this, many couples. In 2 years, that's every child will be away. Every child's going to go and be at school. And so then at the end of the day, we're going to come home and we're going to try to find the things that we like to do together. So that's what I was saying to you. We were trying to pick a time even to talk. And I was like, you can't do Sundays. We've been trying to do this and go to lunch together and do some things like
Oh
that.
my God, and when you said that, oh my gosh, Laura was like, "This is what Derek and I do on Sundays." And my heart melted. And I'm like, I am not interrupting that. You go have your couple time. We can do Monday night.
It, you try. And I think that's all we do is just to try. But it is a shift for sure. It is a shift because so much of your marriage for so many years is your first thing out of your mouth is, hey, did you remember that Grace has this tomorrow? Or hey, are
Mm.
you picking up tomorrow, or am I? Like those are the first words out of your mouth sometimes. So
I have to tell you that you of all people know this. My life is going to be so completely different when they all go to college because my life is totally focused on who's where when do we have time for dinner, who has to be where when, where is Seth going, where am I going? I can't even imagine what my life is going to look like.
yeah. Yeah, it's a change. I mean, yeah, it really is. Anything, and then you think about the house that you have with these empty bedrooms, and you're like, okay, I mean,
Well, so you and I have talked about the fact that Seth and I had a three house plan. Okay.
mhm,
We had our starter house. Then we got our bigger house, which is like double the size of our starter house. And then we were going to get our dream house. And Seth and I are like, Max and Ella are like, we're leaving. Like,
yeah,
why are you trying to upgrade? Shouldn't you be getting smaller houses instead of bigger houses? And like the kids really kind of convinced me that my plan made no sense.
right, right. I mean, we kind of, similar. We had the house that we were like, we could have. It had 4 bedrooms and everything
Yeah.
stayed, but it was on a busier road, and we
Yeah.
didn't a little quieter. So then we found kind of that dream house, but the dream house is big. Like it's bigger than two
Yeah.
people. So I think the next thing someday, not yet,
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
to downsize in some. point. I don't know. I just explained to Noah what downsizing meant. He didn't understand that because we were talking about another couple, and they was like, "Oh, so and so listed their house because both their kids are off to college." And he's like, "What does downsizing mean?" Like, you're downsizing your family, and I was like, "No, it's that the house, the space." Because like,
Well, and
okay,
they still come back. Like
yeah,
I was explaining to Max and Ella, your bedrooms like are still your bedrooms. You
right,
still come back. You're not like gone forever, I
right,
think.
right. Yeah, you just kind of yeah, because they're back in the summers and they're back on breaks, and you just kind of coordinate all of that, and you're so happy when they're all home. That's the best feeling when five of us are in the house. That's literally the best feeling.
Oh my gosh, and we took it such for granted. Like
Mhm.
I just can't even believe that that's going to be like a luxury soon.
I know. I know. Yep.
What's one thing that you wish someone had told you before college drop off?
I mean, that one's a harder one because I guess maybe this is gonna maybe sound a little silly, but I wish someone had told me how hot it is. It's like a million degrees in those dorm rooms. And then you're running up and down. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I had like prepared myself to have like a cooling cloth and like why did I have my hair up in a bun and like I don't know, I was like dressing like I don't know why I did that, but then I started to realize I was like, because then you literally are in that room and you're just like, you're just so warm and you're like, okay, I need water. And then there's no water to be had. So I don't
Oh
know.
my
Maybe that's a
God.
silly thing, but like dress for the weather because almost all of us, even kids going to school in New York State, when they go back in August, it's really warm out still. And most of the dorm rooms in New York colleges or like even probably Ohio, Pennsylvania, they don't have air conditioning. So yeah.
So bring cold waters.
Yeah. Cold
That's what
water,
I'm writing down.
a little fan and like all of those things because dress just super comfortably, like if it's warm enough out, tank top, shorts, like whatever you are comfortable in to be running, because even though you're not running up and down that first year, you still are going up and making sure everything's there. Our school had us label everything with a name and then whatever, I forget, there was a special number that, and so then you knew, must have been the dorm number or something, they knew what to bring up to that room. And they just literally put it outside the room, and we were like, "Oh, cool! It's all here." And we just started bringing it in.
Amazing. And you probably left him with fans.
Yes, yeah, we did. My favorite one in the whole world is called a Wuzu. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
I got it at Costco, but you could get it pretty much anywhere. And it's just this tiny little thing. It looks like what's the guy from Star Wars? Why can't I think of it? That's who it looks like.
Yep. Yep. I
I
know
can't
exactly.
I can't think of his name right now. My
Oh
Noah's
my
gonna kill me because he's gonna be like, "Mom, how do you not know that?"
Oh
But
my
that's
gosh.
my favorite because that just sits right on the dresser or the nightstand or whatever. And then we did a full length fan as well. And both Noah and his roommate brought one. And we were like, "Do you want us to take yours home?" And Noah's like, "No, actually, no." And they used all three fans for a
Oh
while.
my God. Oh my God. Well, it'll be cold before they know it.
Yeah, yeah. And then it gets cold. You're right.
So, how do you think you supported them without solving problems? Like if they called you with an issue, how did you handle that?
That's a good one because I always have been a solver. Even
Yeah.
when we were little, I would try to jump in really quickly and try to solve. And I'm even noticing this with Grace, who's in high school, that I've been really trying to make a conscious effort to listen and then maybe offer some advice, but to listen more. Because whatever the problem may be, sometimes they don't even really want to hear what I have to say. They just want to say it to someone. So that's what I've been trying to do because I was always like, oh, well, if you do this, this, and this, and then maybe if you do this, this, and this, sure, that's my opinion, but maybe that's not how they would have handled it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Ella says parents need to listen more. I'm like, I hear you. I hear you. I will listen.
Say that, yeah.
So, what helped you trust that they'd be okay?
That's a you just have to trust, and yeah, you hope and you just trust that they're going to be okay, and then you have to trust that they're not going to tell you everything. So I have another story to share. This was a good one. We dropped Quinn off, and there was a huge concert at Soldier Field that, like, literally that next weekend or like a couple days after. And we were like, under no circumstances are you going to that concert alone. Like, you literally just got to Chicago. It's a big city. You don't really know where anything is. You're not. And so we got no, okay. And so we never like really thought about it again, catch them later. And then like 2 years later, Quinn's roommate was like, oh, and when Quinn went to whatever the concert was, and we were like, what? And Quinn's like, yeah, I went by myself to that. And I was like, and then it made me realize, like, okay, they're going to be okay. They took a bus to Soldier Field, or I don't even know, probably took transit, whatever, and went to the concert and came home. And
Oh,
yeah,
but still my heart.
it's like under no circumstances are you going to that concert, but you
I
know,
mean, we can say what we want, but we're not there to enforce it. They're going
no,
to do what they're going to do. I mean, so
do
the letting go, like last night, Max was like, "Is it okay if I pick up my friends and we go to Taco Bell?" I was in bed, I was going to sleep, and I was like literally in my head, I was like, "Let go, let go." I was like, "Go ahead," and I was
yeah.
like, "Oh no, I'm not going to be able to."
Oh, you don't know? Like, are they at Taco Bell at 3 in the wherever they are? Yeah, yeah.
I know.
But I think those check-ins and just sometimes just like you can tell from a text or you can tell from a quick message or a FaceTime that if they're not happy. And then if they're not, then you work together through that and don't solve like like let them come to you. But that is something that every parent has to realize, like, there are going to be kids out there who are homesick and they hopefully can work through it. I remember that was one of the stories that one of the RAs told us when Noah first moved in. She was like, the biggest mistake I made, because at Bonaventure, they go to school and they go on Labor Day. So she's the biggest mistake I made was I moved in, and I went home that first weekend, and then I went back to school for Labor Day. And she was like, I should never have done that. I should have just stayed and met everyone. And so I remember telling that to Noah. I was like, remember when she said that? So, just like, because a lot of the kids, if you can go home, you're an hour away or half an hour, you can run home. But that was something that always kind of stuck with me, is to,
Good advice.
yeah, keep them there on those first few weeks. Even if they can get home to you, they should try to stay and just get used to it and meet as many people, and get used to their professors and all of that.
I just read this girl was saying how homesick she was for a while,
Yeah,
and her parents did not know what to do. They didn't know if they should pull her. She wasn't happy. And finally, like months later, she was happy. It
yeah,
just took her time.
yeah. And it might take you time. And I know you're right. Like you said, as a parent, you're thinking, why am I doing this to my child? I'm just leaving them there, and they're all these, so far away from me, and they don't like it. And that's another thing too, that you could have roommate struggles. Just And we all know that could happen. Or you could room with somebody that's your best friend and get there and be like, boy, they're my best friend, and maybe we're better off not living together. We'll still be best friends, but so there's all of those little things, and that happens. And that's the first thing that all I remember. The kids, especially the kids at Bonaventure, are so good, and they were like, if that happens, you just go to your RA, you work it, we'll work it out. You don't have to live with that person forever. There's always a way to you'll always find someone who you hit it off with that you can also live with, because everyone has a different schedule and everybody's different. So,
That's really good advice. Yep. Well, and you talked about your Sundays with Derek. Are there other new routines or joys that you've noticed in your life with two kids off at college?
yeah, I mean, just personally for me, um, it's very different too, because as my kids have gotten older, I think you're still so ingrained right now in PTSA because you have Lily. And as your kids get older, I've done a little bit less. So I chaired the craft show at Williamsville PTSA craft show for 3 years. And we found two new chairs to take it over who are wonderful. So I haven't had those things. So now I've been trying to get out my walks more. I've started reading again. I haven't read in years. Like, I love reading, but I just
Yep.
So, or picked up the show, tried to do those shows with Noah while he's home in the summer, things like that. So,
Oh,
or even picking up with friends that I haven't seen in a long time. I've done a few dinners and, old coworkers, friends, or even just PTSA friends that our kids have gone off to different schools and we've gotten together for dinner or, whatever. So that's been a little more me time than I've had in a really long time.
what is that? No, I'm kidding.
I know. I know.
My friends with older kids are like, can you go out Thursday at 7? And I was like, oh God, can I make it work? And what's nice is that summer, summer is a little bit lighter right now. It's gonna pick back up in August. But like I feel like I have a little tiny bit of a reprieve where it's a little bit less stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who like anyone particular like support system that helped you through this?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my cousin whose kids went off that I mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
My friends who do have kids that are a little older, whose kids have gone off in the last few years. Um, Even I don't know Noah's roommate's family as well, but I got to know Quinn's roommate's family a little bit, and they're from St. Louis and that area. So she and I would message each other every so often and be like, "What are they doing?" And so that was helpful.
Oh.
Sometimes it was just about academic, life and students and things. I'd reach out to my sister, who is a college professor, so I had it from the different angles of both parents and family, and then having that side from my sister. So that's all been helpful.
Well, and I'm trying to figure out, I mean, this is a whole nother topic that I'll probably talk to you about another time, but you know how we have wits with school?
Yes.
Okay, so like we're ingrained, like we know everything that's going on. So now with college, to figure out like there's like a family newsletter and like I'm trying to figure out all the things of how to stay connected and actually know what's going on. Like this is so new and foreign to me.
I don't, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know.
Okay.
I mean,
No, that's
I
good to know.
know I'm on same thing. Like I'm signed up for emails from both schools, and we get, me being in nonprofit, I get all their giving emails and things like that. And then there's a magazine that comes out. I follow both schools on social media, so I see when there's bigger activities and things like that. But if it were in particular of like, sometimes when a teacher reaches out to your child and you're like, do you need me to help like write the email, but then like, do you need me to look at it and craft it if you're writing back to dear Mrs. or Mr. So, dear
Yep.
who, and they have to write back to a professor, they just write back. And yeah, I don't know,
I know.
you don't
Oh my
can't
God.
grades like we follow, you get the report cards and you're like, you can be like, oh yeah, you did great, or what happened in science, like how did you get, where do we need to study more, what are we doing? And none of that. You just, yeah.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, my best story was a Quinn story, and it was I don't like this class, so I didn't really turn anything in. It's all due in a few days, but the system at the school went down, so they had like an extra day or two. And so I called my sister because I was like, what do I do?" And my sister's like, "You tell them to get every single assignment in." And again, this is like a child who is a kind of like me, like I can't turn it in if it's not perfect. And I was like, "You just turn it in." And they ended up getting like a B+ in the class. And I told them, I'm like, and this is the first time I ever had to get involved at all in college. It was like freshman or sophomore year. And I was like, at 6:30 tomorrow morning, because they're an hour behind, I'm like, I expect to see a text message that you've turned in every single assignment. This will never happen again because we're paying for this class. And I got a phone call. "Mom, you're right. You were 100% right. I should have never done that. I should have turned everything in." And I did learn a lesson, and I got like a B+ in the class, like, which
Which is so
I was like,
unlike, I mean, you would never expect that.
and you don't expect that right from even a
Yes.
student like, Quinn,
Yes.
student
Yes.
turns everything in, but just didn't
Yes.
like the material in the class. And I was like, it doesn't really matter if you don't like it. Like, there's lots of things that we do in the world that we don't love, but we still do them because we need to do them. We made a commitment.
Well, and a mom said to me, remember to ask them their grades. And I'm like, well, of course I'm going to ask their
Yep.
grades. I'm going to want to know that.
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh. So, any challenges that you're comfortable sharing with us that they had? And you don't have to, and maybe they didn't.
Yeah. Think challenges that you are you thinking more what they had or challenges that I had?
Either one, like challenges that your kids had at school that they overcame. Um, it sounds like you adjusted. You know,
Yeah.
there's bumps at school. I'm sure it's not smooth sailing all the time. I mean, I guess you just explained one with the
Yeah.
turning in the stuff.
Gosh, that was horrible. And I'm trying to think more with Noah was, I think Noah did reached out and they so Noah was always very involved in the musicals in high school at North. And at St. Bonaventure, there's not really a big program like that. So we were like, try something. So Noah tried the play last fall. Didn't love it because I think missed the musical piece of it, missed the
Yeah, yeah,
but memorized all these lines. So we went to go see the play. It was really very good, and it wasn't a huge cast. And then said to me, "I don't think I want to do the play again." And I was like, so I kind of that was another piece. It's like a challenge. Like, how much do you push your child? So I kind of let it go for the spring semester. But then we've been talking more now, and I was like, by the time next semester comes, find something. I don't. It doesn't. It can be anything you want. You can volunteer. You can,
yep,
get involved in a club, but you have to do something. Like, that's always my big thing is that they have to do something and they have to find, and there's so much that schools offer that there's something
yeah,
for everyone. There really
yeah.
that was a bit of a challenge with Noah is just the, you know,
Get involved.
get involved and because it is easy to go back to your dorm room when you're a little bit more of a quieter person.
Yes,
Like
yes,
you need that space. Like at the end of the day, if Noah's around a lot of people, at the end of the day, Noah needs to go in his room and decompress. Like it's just
yes.
too many
I
people.
totally get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. Well, and Max's roommate's mom said, is Max joining clubs? And you know that they can sign up for clubs. And I was like, Max, go sign up for some
Yeah.
clubs. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you can sign up now. Go figure this out.
Yeah, so they must do it a little differently, which I think every school does. But at Bonaventure, they had a club fair once they got
Okay.
again, and everything was set up on the quad area, and you could walk around and you could just talk to people. Which I said to Noah, you have to go to that, just like talk to
Yes.
people.
Yes.
But at Cornell, they're doing things a little bit differently, where you sign it, you can sign up ahead of time.
I mean, who knows? He'll
Yeah,
figure it out, right?
you will.
So tell me how Grace has adjusted to them leaving because I mean, she's like an only child.
Mhm. She, I really thought when Noah went that she would come home and like if she didn't have a sport or something, she'd just go up to her room and shut the door. And she has not done that. I thought she would more, but she brings down if she's even just like watching a show or she's on her iPad or something, she brings it down and sits in the kitchen. She has a lot of her homework still in her room. She has her desk up there and everything. But if it's just like, hey, like we've done a lot more family dinners because there's just one, and so we can work family dinner around her schedule.
Oh,
So whatever it is, and a lot of times like I am, me, I am not a cook at all. So if it's tacos in a bag or whatever it might be, and if we eat it at 8 o'clock at night, but it was hard with the three of them, like we'd be like, okay, what are we ordering tonight, and we would not be, but we've been better about that, and so she's hung around with us a lot more in the common spaces in the family room and the kitchen versus I thought she'd go up in her room more. So that's been nice. I think she knew we needed it a little bit.
oh my God. I said to Lily the other day when I hugged her, I said, listen, I'm going to need a lot of hugs.
I know. I know, but then it gives you the opportunity to, and it also almost as you said, it almost is like being an only child for a little while. So whatever it is, anything at school, any sports game. Like, I know you're like me, like, you don't like to miss things, but sometimes you have to. If somebody else has something, you have to split it up. And
Yeah.
you'll sometimes, I know you sometimes get like your parents to go, like, you guys go, I'll go here. And it was
Yeah.
like, I could go to everything because I didn't, yeah,
So weird. It
yeah,
sounds so weird when you say that,
yeah,
but oh, that's where we're going. Heading
yeah.
in that direction.
I've been to all the lacrosse games this year, which you used to say, you never come to my lacrosse games. And I'm like, well, I'm always running somebody. Would do that. I would always do cheer, and Derek would always do the other sports. And so then when cheer, she didn't go back to cheer. It was like, oh, yeah, I'll go to lacrosse. I'll go to field hockey because now I can do all those
Oh, that's wonderful. See, there's some silver linings.
things.
So give me some like vision of how often you get to see them during the school year.
So with Noah, because he's only an hour and a half away, we saw him a lot. He really enjoys, like Will, he loves going to Shays. He loves going to. We've started to do where the BPO will play all the music to a movie, and then they'll show the movie. So there's been some at Klein Hansen, some at Shays. So he was like, I really want to see Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade, and we're like, we'll come get you. So we would get him a little bit
Oh,
more for a couple of those things, and then I got him tickets to in Toronto. It was a present, but we got him tickets to go see Avatar: The Last Airbender in concert because that was our favorite animated show when the kids were growing up. So it was in Toronto. So we went there. So we got him. There was a couple weekends he was home every weekend, and so we got a little bit extra. And then he would come home on every break. Now Quinn is different. Quinn lives in an apartment now. They just moved. It was very interesting that I literally, other than the fact that I was like, "Did you find the apartment yet?" They did everything. The four roommates together toured, found it, packed, moved, rented a truck. I like one day they were in one apartment and then ordered everything, and I was like, we'll help you out still. We know you're still in school. Mom, I ordered everything, but I use your Amazon account for some things. And I'm like, that's totally fine. We said we would help and did everything. And so Quinn's really just home now about twice a year, but we try to go there maybe twice. So it's not as often, but
oh boy.
it's a flight. It's an easy flight, but it's also a 9 hour drive.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So closer is better.
Yeah, no, Grace is telling me she wants to go to California. So,
Oh my God. We just had this conversation with Ella. She's like, you're not gonna. So, we had boundaries and we did not let Max apply to Berkeley. He wanted to go to Berkeley and we said no. So I'm glad that, but he said he might want to do that for grad school.
mm,
So I did say no. So now Ella's like, so California's a no. And I'm like, California is a no.
I mean, I didn't say no, but also because I have my sister there. So
Yes. Yes, that's different.
feel a little bit better that, Grace would have someone who could get to her if something happened. And who knows if she'll probably end up applying to a few schools there, but I don't think she wants to be as close as Noah. I think she wants to expand.
Oh, these children. So, what advice do you want to leave moms with today? One piece of advice.
Oh, well, do you want it to be overall? You want it to be more about I think because I'm so organized that I like to leave my advice around organization because I think
Yes.
that that's a big stressor for right this moment. So in the next month, everyone's like, what do I do? And so that was always I think that's a piece of advice is to just get everything in order as early as you can. And I know some people are like, oh, I have everything, but and then you don't really need to fully, like, if you have everything and you've got it laid out, like you said, your dining room table, you can make sure it's all there. And then a few weeks before a week even before, you label it, you do what you need to do. The other thing that I was thinking of is you have to think it through, which we didn't, even with Noah as our second, because we drove and I was like, we're all going to go together, but I don't want to take two cars. And so we packed it all into one car. We had a big enough, we don't we have an SUV that was big enough, and Grace and I sat like on top of each other. We were like, right, it was the most uncomfortable car ride. And then I was like, why didn't I just take two cars? Like, it's only an hour and it's not that far. So I get it. You have to think that about that though, because if you have two cars that are smaller and you're taking everything from Buffalo with you and driving it somewhere, you might need to think about like, do we want to take two cars, or do we want to rent a minivan or some sort of an SUV for the weekend and take that? So that's another piece of advice that I think you have to plan ahead so what vehicle you're taking and who's going, because if all five of you go, then you would need two cars probably. Or is like your child taking a car, then maybe, I don't know. I know a lot of
I
freshmen
know.
cars, but
I'm very sad the girls can't come. They
okay.
both they both have stuff, so they're both very bummed about that. And it's like mandatory stuff, so it really
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah,
Really
that's okay.
sucks.
But then you have to think about, can you fit it all in with like two people, and then basically all you can leave is one seat because you're going to need every inch of the rest of that space.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice. We're gonna have to see if we need two cars. Let's hope not.
Yeah, yeah, because I know that's a little farther drive for you too. So yeah, I
It's
don't.
just, you know what it is? It's the parking situation because they said you pull up and they take all your stuff and then you have to go park far.
Yeah,
So that does not, the parking situation doesn't sound fun, but
yeah.
we'll figure it out. I mean, I asked you so many questions, Laura. Do you feel like there's anything I didn't ask you or did I cover most of it?
I think you covered most of it. Um, I hope it is. I remember sitting there just, a few years ago, and it's a scary thought. It really is. And when you reached out to me about this, I was like, gosh, what could I offer? And then I was like, you know what? Actually, we have been through a lot of things. And
You have.
when you just
Yes.
learn along the way. But the biggest thing I'd say, and I think that's everything that you've created here, is to have each other and to know that you can reach out, and anybody, whether I know them personally or not, can reach out to me if they have, connect them to me if they have questions, or use your network, use who you have and you trust, that maybe sent someone to college in the last few years, so you can lean on them, because sometimes it's just a listening ear. You call someone and be like, I just need to cry on your shoulder. I'll be okay, but I just need to cry on your shoulder. And then you're okay. And then you trade stories, and then you start talking about other things, and that's all good.
Well, and the wonderful thing is that I have friends like you who have been through it and can
Hmm.
give me advice. And I just keep asking you all questions. So I think we need to reach out to the moms and dads who have already been through this.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And I think even that, then when you say that, even the dads will have a different perspective, because Derek has a very different perspective on things. Because I feel like Derek and probably Seth, they handled more of the paperwork end, the financial end of things. And that's not the things I did. So, when it came to like, oh, now Quinn's looking for this apartment, and I got the, oh, hey, mom, can you put dad on? Because I need him to look at this lease for me and make sure. And, oh, I have to ask him a question about renter's insurance and all the things that I was like, ask dad about. And so we kind of split those things. That's how we split it. But every couple is different. And whoever is, I think we handle the things that we are better at. That's, I'm not as strong in those areas, but
Yeah.
Derek, can you organize the list, order all the supplies, and label it? He'd be like, oh, please don't make me do that.
Oh my God.
But I'm
Seth
like,
is
I love that stuff. Yeah, I'll do it.
our marriage sounds very similar with college and who handles what.
Yep.
And I will tell you, Seth's answer is he doesn't need all this stuff. And I'm like, yes, he does.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe that was the one thing. What are the things you don't need?
Yes, yes, that I was going to ask you that.
And hold on, because I actually wrote notes on this because I wanted to tell you a few things.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the things you didn't need were like, I bought a toolkit, and I did buy a broom and a dustpan that I never got used for either child. Now, Quinn,
That's so sad.
Quinn now uses a vacuum. Like, they need all that because they have an apartment and they have to clean their own bathrooms and everything. But like I remember the first year I sent like Norwex cloths because I had bought extra, and I sent like Norwex detergent, and then I had a little list, and I was like, if you use the cloth and you wash it separately and only the Norwex detergent. And the Norwex cloths came home perfectly new. No detergent had been used. And I was like, okay, whatever. So, just things like that that they didn't really need. And the things they for sure needed, which depends on if you live in a suite or like Noah had just a standard room and you have to walk down the hall to go to the bathroom. So, like shoes to go shower in and maybe a robe. Like some kids just throw shorts on and, as a boy, they just walk back. But I was like, I kind of like a robe. So I'm like, all right, a robe. And I think the storage organizer, and my favorite one is one that hooks on the front of the bed and has all these little pockets. That was from Pottery Barn. And I actually have one for each kid. And then what I've actually done is when I found something storage related that I really liked, like a couple little drawer systems and under the bed boxes. And this sounds crazy, but I bought extra and I have it put away for Grace. Does that sound crazy?
No, that sounds amazing.
So
I
I
love
have like
that.
a shelf in the basement that's called Grace, and it
Yes.
pillows she wanted and a lamp we got through Buy Nothing that was cute and she liked it. And then there's extra storage bins and things that then because sometimes when you buy them even on Amazon, by the time you go back 2 years later, they're discontinued. So we know
Such
we like
good. I like that.
so
Yep.
and then
No,
keeping a
good.
shelf available, like somewhere to put the stuff, because what happens when they come home in May and then you've got all this stuff, where is it living for three
Oh
months?
God, I didn't even, you know what though? This is really good motivation for me because I need to organize my basement. You and I have talked about that.
I
So I have to get through the bat mitzvah and then I have to get through moving him to the dorm and then I will work on the basement because I'm going to have a place for all his
Yeah,
stuff.
because it goes away and then it comes home double the size that it was when it went away, because everything now, your mattress cover that was like a tiny little thing is now a full, long, twin full. And Noah's like, what are we doing with this? I was like, fold it in half and stick it in the basement. So it's on a shelf in the basement. And then towards the end of the summer this year, we'll go through and just decide if there's anything we need to replenish. Which everything out to anywhere you go to school, there's always a store nearby. So that's
Yes.
the thing. It's like Derek would be like, "We're going to Olean. It's okay. There's a Walmart. There's an Aldi. There's all these things around. Like if you forget something, we'll go and run and buy it." And I'm like, "Okay," because I was like, "We're gonna forget
I
something."
yes, I needed to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I kept you so long. I can't thank you enough. I guarantee you that you will help lots of people with
I
this episode.
hope, and I'd be thinking of everyone because I know that this is it's a bittersweet time, and I know everyone's now gotten through graduation, and a lot of the grad parties are happening or have happened. So, all I can say is just enjoy it as much as you can, because it goes. We all say it goes really fast. So
Yes, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for him. I'm sad for me, but I'm not sad for him. I'm
yeah,
excited for him.
he's gonna love it, and he's just gonna do great things.
Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate you. And this is Rebecca Green, and I want to remind everyone to spend every day laughing, learning, and loving.
Thank you for tuning in to the Whiny Palooza podcast. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. While you are there, leave a review. I love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.